And welcome to All About the Bass. I'm Nathan and this is...
I'm Dave. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Here's Dave. And Dave is our resident bass expert here at Andertons. Dave, what are we looking at today?
We are looking at the new Generation 2 from Sire, the Marcus Miller basses, which...
What? They can't have made it any better.
Well, believe it or not, they have.
Amazing.
So the Generation 1, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with, were fantastic, great value for money.
Yep.
Lots of great features that you wouldn't normally find in a bass at that kind of level.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
And they've done a wholesale change across the whole range on the pickups.
Right.
So they've upgraded the pickups. They took one of Mr. Miller's 70s jazz basses.
Okay, yeah, well, let's start at the beginning. What prompted this change? It was Marcus, wasn't it? Sort of went back to Kyle,
Absolutely,
the guy
Kyle
who runs it, and said, he said that it's great, I love it, the basses are great, they sound great and stuff, I just want it, I want a bass that's just like mine.
That he's been playing for 40-something years.
Okay.
So gave them the bass to reverse engineer, kind of like Fender did with Stevie Ray Vaughan's Strat.
Right.
Took everything to pieces and tried to replicate the way that it had been made in the 70s.
Right.
And changed the pickup wires to a more enamel-based thing rather than an Alnico.
Oh yeah, all right. So we'll go. Let's go through it. Sort of. Let's break it and then go through it stage by stage with what they have changed on the bases. So yeah, the pickups are different.
Yep, they are the new.
And you can tell because these ones have got some little writing on them.
That's it. If you see Marcus Miller written in little writing.
Yeah, if I had my glasses, I probably could see what that says. But
so yeah, anybody that comes into the store, if you look for the writing,
apparently it says Marcus Miller. So I'll take your word for it.
So yeah, upgraded the pickups across the whole range, tried to replicate the demagnetization of the magnets in Mr. Miller's 1970s jazz bass.
Right.
Magnets over time will lose their polarity and will lose the amount of magnetic field that they give out, which will affect the sound that you're getting from the bass.
Okay.
So they've tried to reverse engineer that and make a new pickup sound like it's been played for 40 odd years.
That's amazing.
And obviously all of that information's on the website.
Right.
All in full detail from the man himself, Kyle, who's the CEO at Sire.
Yes, the head honcho there, yeah. The preamp, is that still the same?
Preamp is still the same great preamp with your 18 volts.
That's good news because, that's the thing I really love about the Sire. Because I'm a convert, I've got one.
And you're playing it on tour, I believe, as well.
Well, so. I play with the Blockheads. I dep for Norman
yeah,
in the Blockheads if he's out doing something else. And it's a funny story because the guy who does sound for the Blockheads is a real miserable old bastard. And I sort of go along with my status, and he'd go, "Oh, what are you doing? This is no." Because the Blockers is very old school rock and roll, you know. And I totally saw his point. He says, "No, to get yourself a proper bass." So I thought, right, and the size, you know, became available. And, you know, with the money, it was like a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
So got myself a sire, went along, and he was happy as Larry's. Oh, hey, good boy, good boy. Unfortunately, I got a 5-string one, you know, which, that freaked him out.
It freaked him out a bit, yeah.
He didn't like that. But, you know, the difference in the sound, you know, because that's what I just love about the sire basses, is that they just sound amazing. Just like DI'd.
Yeah, straight in, because they've got that 18-volt power supply, so there's a pre-amplified signal going through.
Yeah.
And obviously they're very, very versatile when you've got your 3-band active EQ that runs off of those batteries as well. So you can boost your bass or your middle, or cut the treble out if you want to. So for anything you're doing, be it your blockheads or whatever else you might be trying.
Well, they are very versatile. But the great thing is, just when everything's flat, when everything's just set at 12 o'clock, it just sounds great.
And that's how you had it just now, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah. Well, I'll fiddle it about, actually, sort of doing bits and pieces. But we'll go through some of the sounds in a bit. What other differences have we got?
Going back to the preamp, they have changed the cover. You've got a wooden cover rather than the plastic things that they had before.
Okay.
So they've put a wooden cover, partly from a luxury point of view, but partly, I think, from a sound as well. Obviously, you haven't then got any bits of plastic stuck in the back of the body. So, and the other big thing they've done across the whole range, from the bottom end to the very top, is they have rolled the edges of the fingerboard. Okay.
Now, well, this is new to me, and what's that all about?
So, if you'd had a guitar for as long as Marcus Miller had his bass, and you played it every day without fail, eventually you wear off the sharp edges, so to speak, so the corner on the fretboard, and it makes it feel like it's been played and sort of well loved for a long, long time. And rather than having to do that yourself, which of course you're more than welcome to do by getting any other brand of guitar and playing it in, but with this one, it feels like you've had it for that amount of time. It's nice and comfortable. It's no sharp edges, it feels comfortable in your hand with that rolling on the edge. And that's all done by hand in the factory.
Oh, right.
In order to replicate the amount of wear and tear that you might get. Naturally, they've done it with in the factory on the production line. So.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess they're still the same money, right?
They are slightly more expensive,
right.
As you would imagine, for having all of these upgrades that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But they are still very, very affordable. It averages out at around about £80 per model more expensive than they were before. But still great value for money.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
And obviously all the information, all the models are listed on the website with the prices, and you can still see the version 1s on the website as well. So.
Okay, so any other little changes that we need to know about?
So on the modern range, so this one, the M7, which has got the humbucking pickups, and on the modern V series, which are the jazz basses, which is the one that you're playing, they have made the back of the neck satin.
Ah, of course.
So on their vintage range, the back of the neck is gloss, and on all of the version 1s it was gloss. On the version 2s, generation 2s, they are satin, which for me, feels a little bit smoother.
No, me
little
too.
bit
I
slicker,
have to say, I
so-
prefer that. I find the varnishy sort of gloss necks just a little bit sticky.
That's what I find,
you know
but
what I mean?
some people do prefer them, and they've still got the option. The one just behind you, the nice shiny red one, is one of
Hello.
the vintage range. So that has got your gloss on the back of the fingerboard.
Right.
The other thing that they've changed on the modern iterations is they have made the frets bigger, so they're now medium jumbo as opposed to your vintage kind of style. So you can actually see the frets are a little bit thicker.
Oh, okay.
So
this is all good stuff, because actually that's all the sort of improvements that I would have suggested. You know, so that's all good.
And also the fretboard radius is slightly flatter on the modern ones as well. So the vintage is a 7¼ inch neck radius, as you find on the sort of traditional Fender early 50s kind of basses and guitars.
Yeah.
These are now 9½ inch radius, so a little bit flatter, gives you a little bit more sort of room to play. And if you are going to do any bending, not that you do a lot on a bass, but you're not going to get that problem of choking on the frets. So.
Oh, well, they all sound like really good improvements to me. I mean, that's all the sort of thing that I like. Satin finish neck, sort of fatter frets. Yeah, so good. Lovely. I'm going to buy another one now. God,
see?
Honestly.
The other one that we haven't mentioned so far is the P7. So we have the V series, which are your jazz bass. We have your M series, which is your sort of more modern kind of 2/2 headstock, smaller body with humbuckers.
Yep.
The P, as the name suggests, is a precision and jazz combination.
Okay, so you've got the P-bass body.
Yep, with a P-bass style neck, but with a jazz pickup built into it.
Right.
We brought up the fretless version because the fretless sides are all fantastic, fitted with flat wound strings as standard from the factory.
Now, well, that's great. That's a good idea.
It always surprises me that a lot of other companies that we shall not name, but do not always fit flat wound strings.
Well, we've talked about this in sort of past episodes of All About the Bass, because, you know, I think that obviously flat wounds make a lot more sense on a fretless bass.
Absolutely.
But you're right, so many basses come with round wounds.
So you've then got to buy another set of strings upon it, whereas these all fitted there as standard.
There you go.
Also got on this one.
It's almost like somebody's listening to us.
Absolutely. So
these are all my ideas. Who's nicking my ideas?
How to get some commission off them, Nathan. Give them a shout. See if they'll pay you for it. On this one, you've got your ebony fingerboard.
Okay.
So it's lacquered ebony on the fretless basses. On all of their basses that used to come with rosewood, they have upgraded them all to come with ebony.
Oh, wow.
Partly because ebony is not such an endangered species as rosewood, so there's not the problem with the import and export of them, but it also gets a little bit of a harder wood, so it does give you a different tone from the rosewood as well as looking
Right.
Really smart with that darker grain that you get, tighter grain structure than you get on rosewood as well.
Right. Okay. So, and this sexy beast here, this is the...
So that's the V9.
V9.
Which is their top of the range. That's a swamp ash back with a quilted maple top.
Look at that.
And obviously that's got an extra string to the rest of the basses that we have. So you do them in the 5-string versions. Also, 5-string fretless versions of a lot of their models are available.
But
so
I get, but obviously like this, they're all available in 5s, are
yes,
they?
indeed, yeah. And yeah, 5s and fretless for all of the models.
Right. Lefties?
Yes, not as many, but the left-handed brethren are accommodated in their range as well.
Good.
So absolutely, V7s and P7s are available in left-handed versions as well.
All right.
So,
Here we go then. So what you've been seeing is the, what are we calling it? The second generation?
second generation of the Sire Revolution series.
Wow, that's very exciting because, you know, we've grown to love the Sire basses.
Generation
They just keep getting better and better, you know.
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. All the different options you'll be able to see on the Andertons website, you know, all the different string combinations and colours and all that sort of stuff. So go on the website, check it out, see what's available. Also, Dave, you're in store.
I will be in the shop every day.
You're in-store guy, so you can phone him up and talk to him.
Yeah, or come and find me.
Poke him and ask him questions.
I'm not easy to recognise, so come and ask for me.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. I think that just about wraps this up.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. This has been All About the Bass. I've been Nathan.
I've been Dave.
And I hope you've enjoyed this view into the new Sires. And see you next time. Thanks.
See ya.
Ta-da. Thank you.